What's up, fellow hiatus enjoyers? It's Teak, and I'm back after a bit of a break from Path of Spreadsheets. In this one, I'm going to try to answer one simple question. Is boss loot actually good now? I ran a bunch of maps with the desecrated mod. Natural rare monsters in area are in a union of souls with the map boss. I combined this with high rolls for natural rare monsters on the Waystone, as well as tablets that buff the rare monster count to push bosses over 20 and sometimes even 30 and 40 union stacks. Before I begin, I want to point out this is a terrible idea unless you have an insanely strong build, since the bosses are often buffed to the point of 85% or higher damage reduction, and in most cases more than double their original damage. I'm playing a relatively strong build that does enough damage to one-shot most of the content in the game, but for some of the higher soul count bosses, it was definitely super sketchy. In the spreadsheet, I included a chart of what the damage reduction should look like so you can get some insight into exactly how bad of an idea this can be. Now let's get into the important stuff, the loot. I won't list off everything that dropped in the map as it's kind of irrelevant, but in the sheet I did note down any significant notable drops from the bosses, as well as the tiers of items we're seeing from the bosses themselves, such as like rares and waystone, tablets and stuff like that. So if you take a look at the spreadsheet here, I listed pretty much everything. So we have our toughness value, our union stacks from each of the bosses that we killed, the damage reduction we're going to be getting from that union, the rarity we should be getting from the union, the rarity that's on the map itself, my player rarity, and then we listed off the T5, T4, T3 items, as well as the currencies and uniques that dropped, and if there was any additional notes. Like a couple of these were citadels. Citadels were pretty difficult. The bosses have quite a lot of HP in multiple phases, and they the damage reduction just kind of makes them a little bit ridiculous, but it was definitely fun. It's some difficult content. Like on here you see we had a 48 stack boss, so damage reduction around 91%, and that was an interesting one. You'll see some clips of that. I'll show some clips of that here. Now, as far as currency goes, the currency wasn't that great. You can see I listed all the currency here. Everything highlighted in a lighter purple was a little bit of value. Everything highlighted in a darker purple was stuff that was of greater value, like greater chaos. We had a divine here. We had a couple chaos here. We had another greater chaos and another divine. So overall, the loot wasn't great. This rarity conversion is definitely not hitting the currency like it should be. But as you can see, it definitely does result in a lot of T5 items, quite a lot of T4 items. And as you see, we're not really getting all that many T3. So the rarity is definitely working for the gear that we're getting. But in terms of the currency, it's really not resulting in anything substantial. We also had some random uniques, nothing really that great. They're all listed in the unique column. And then, so like I said before, just the fragments that we got from the citadels, and then one twilight key. So I'm going to ask again, is the boss loot good? And this time I'll give you a real answer. No, it's not good. This is definitely not worth doing. Unless you want a challenge for some reason, it's better just to focus on buffing rares and kill a lot of rares in your map. So that'd be like running Breach and maybe Expedition. You could also do Delirium or something like that. There's multiple strats out there. It's pretty much the same as it was before this patch. Bosses are kind of whatever. They're just there, present on the map. But the main bulk of your currency is going to come from rares and extra additional endgame content, such as like, I don't know, logbooks, breach rares, stuff like that. So all in all, this experiment was pretty bad, and it's something I'll probably revisit again in the future, as there's probably going to be some changes and more iterations to come on the boss loot. That pretty much does it. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.